To creatives who's afraid to make a move, you will begin to be stirred up to the very extent that you can't even sleep because of the creativity that's stirring up on the inside of you. I speak to sleeping creatives who keeps allowing the industry to pass them by. I speak to creatives who have been stuck in creating. God, Jesus, I speak that there will be a release and flow of new ideas.
Hey guys, so I am Cheyenne Wisdom and I am the creative behind The Creative Space. So you might be wondering, what is The Creative Space? Or maybe not, but I'm gonna let you know anyway. The Creative Space is going to be a space, or it is a space specifically and strictly for creatives. The meaning is in the name. So, on December 11th, 2021, we will be having our first gathering, get together, whatever you guys want to call it, in New York City. Well, not the city, in New York, okay? Specifically Westbury. So we'll be getting together. There is going to be 3 segments, okay? There's going to be something called the talk, the release, and the pour. What is the talk? The talk is going to be a group of different creatives from different arenas, and we're just going to be having a conversation about a variety of topics. You guys will find out when you get there what they are, because I'm going to leave that a surprise. And then we have the release. What is the release? It's going to be where we have a speaker who is also a creative in their regular everyday life, and they'll basically release the word unto us. Then after that, we will have something called the pour. This is where every single creative in attendance will get poured into. We will have intercessors pouring into you. That's what it is in plain words, plain English, plain context, all right?
Hey, what's up? This is Pastor Jason Nelson. Listen, I have been burdened to pray for creatives. So I want you to tag all of your creative friends, whether they're in the church or without. I'm believing that there is something that God wants to do for all of us. So Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for your power, for your strength. I come today, Father, on behalf of my brothers and my sisters in the creative space. I pray, Father, number one, that they would walk in a place of great deliverance, that you would break them out of whatever system has been stunting and limiting their ability to walk in the truth that you called them to be in. Father, I pray now in the name of Jesus that they would walk in freedom, that they would walk in deliverance. I pray now, Father, that anything that has been stunting them, anything that has been causing them to not move forward, Father, I thank you that it is broken off of them now. I speak, Father, that you will cause revival to hit their houses, to hit their lives, to hit their families. I thank you, Father, that the lens through which they look is changing now in the name of Jesus. I thank you, Father, that we will no longer look back, but we will start to look forward. We will begin to project what is to come. I pray, Father, that you would refine the sound and the art that we deliver into the earth. And I pray now in the name of Jesus for my brothers and my sisters who are dealing with depression, oppression, that are dealing with abuse or dealing with substance abuse. Father, I pray now in the name of Jesus that you would deliver them, that you would break them loose from everything that limits them from being everything that you have designed them to be. Father, I thank you now because I know you love each and every one of us. And I thank you that because of that love, you're sending revival to us now. I thank you that freedom is our portion, and it is so. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I love you. Tag somebody. Let them know that deliverance is theirs.
And let the church say amen. Hi, everybody. Let me do a mic check. Can you guys hear me? Can y'all hear me? I don't want to start talking. Okay, so everybody can hear me. Amen. So, why is this there? So, anyways, hi everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in at 8 o'clock, 8:09 on this Wednesday evening. You guys can be doing anything else, but you guys are here with me. So I really, really appreciate it. I thank you so much. Let me check in. Let me see who's in here. Hi, Miss Karen. How are you? Hey, Dee. Rachel. Hi, Auntie. Hey, Steph. Hey, Travis. Hi, Miss Sydney. I think that's everybody for now. Hey, Corey Smith. What up, bro? Hey, Lamar. All right. So that prayer, right? Minister Trina Renee Johnson sent it to me last night. And yeah, when she sent it, I was just like, oh wow. Like in his caption, it literally said to the creative space, whatever the case may be. So I was like, oh wow, we need to use this. So you guys will be hearing that prayer every week, okay? Every week on repeat. Anyways, let me get into it. I don't want this to be too long. Come through, Mike. You already know. You already know. But all right. So what's the first announcement? First announcement is merch. We are selling merch. Hey Jay, we are selling merch. That little fly up there. So, oh, right here. So we're selling sweatshirts, crew necks, buttons, and stickers. If you want anything that you see, please message me. Okay, please message me. That's the easiest way to get that done. Just message me. Next, all right. Gotta clear my throat for this one. My voice is acting up. I don't know why. Hello Raymond. How are you? Next. Okay, so sewing. Okay. The creative space needs your help. All right. This is our first ever event, our first ever anything. So we need your help. I'm not gonna prophesy to you and tell you that if you sew, you're gonna get a house or a car. But what I will say is that you plant and God will give you the increase. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey Kenneth, what up? So yeah, so I thought it would be really cool if you guys was to sew, it would be really cool if you guys sew in 8. So if it's $8, $18, $28, $38, $800, you never know. So okay, our Cash App is on the screen, our PayPal and our Venmo. So yeah, sew in 8 because 8 is in the creative space. 8 means new beginnings, I believe. Bible scholars correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so I don't have a word for anybody if you sew, but yeah, yo, you guys are killing me with these mic comments. The Go Mike got glory on it. Thank you guys. So yeah, so listen, we need your help. Do what you gotta do. So in $8, 8 cents. We take it all, okay? We take it all. Next, okay, so since I have 20 people in here, which I'm like, that's just crazy to me that 20 people are sitting here watching me. But since I have 20 people in here, I want to explain the breakdown of the creative space December 11th because I want you guys to understand everything that's going on. It looks like I'm lagging a little bit. It looks like I'm lagging. I don't know. But yeah, so the day of, hi Danielle, thank you for watching, girl. So December 11th, right? It's an all day thing, not really, from midday to the end of the night. So we're gonna get there at 3 o'clock, right? 3 o'clock. We're starting, doors open. We're starting on time. You guys see that we've been starting these lives on time. So we're starting this on time, okay? At 3 o'clock, there's gonna be a group of different creatives from different arenas. And we're all gonna be having a conversation. It's not gonna be where we are talking to you guys. No, you guys, we're all gonna be talking together. There's gonna be a portion of that segment where we're gonna cut the cameras off and let you guys, whoever's in attendance, speak from your heart to where you don't have to be worried of who's watching, who's listening. If my pastor can see this, if my friends can see this, it's going to be a safe space. So there's going to be a portion during that segment that we're going to cut the cameras off. So that's from like 3-ish to, my goal is to have it end at 5 o'clock. But if it ends before then, good, because then there is a break, right? There's a break until 6 o'clock because our 6 o'clock night service is starting on time. Like we're starting prayer. Maybe at 6:05 because we're going to go live for the first 5 minutes. But we're starting on time. That break from the end of the panel to the night service, you guys will have food vendors, food and dessert vendors, okay? Right there. You don't have to DoorDash. You don't have to Uber Eats. You have to get in your car and leave. Trust me. You can have good food, good dessert, and stay getting your merry way. Like eat and just come right back in the service, right back in the venue. Where the vendors are is attached to the venue, so you guys don't have to go anywhere, right? So that's the night service. So we're gonna do pray, blah blah blah. Y'all, the speaker. I'm not gonna tell y'all who the speaker is yet, but the speaker, y'all need to register. It's free. Okay, the registration link is on my page. It's in my bio on Instagram. Y'all need to register. But the speaker, child, I can't wait to announce her. So she's gonna speak a word, right? Then our segment called the pour, which is like very, very, this whole day is important, but this part is very important to me. Ask me why. I'm not gonna wait for the comments because it's delayed. But why? Because this is where every single person that touches base, that touches the floor, that steps foot on the venue is getting poured back into. We will have intercessors, prophets praying with every single one of the creatives that are comfortable with, with that because COVID. But every single my goal is that every single person gets poured into. You're not just gonna be laying out on the floor and you don't know why. Like, no, you're gonna get poured into. We want you to leave restored, renewed, refreshed. Listen, so I need y'all to get there, register, save your seat. Okay, save your seat. It is free. All you need to do is put your name and your number, your email, register. Okay, tonight I need to see some registrants on my phone. All right. Next, I think this is the last point. So tonight we're gonna be answering questions, right? But the day of, on the actual segment of the talk, which is the first segment that starts at 3:00, we will answer more questions. So if you guys ask questions in the chat, if it does not get answered tonight, we will answer them on December 11th and shout you out. This person asked this question, blah blah blah. So please ask your questions. We have a moderator, which is my sister, Rachel. So she will let us know if there's questions. I will look and try to answer questions. If we can't answer tonight, we will answer on December 11th. Okay. All right. Now let's get into the good part. We welcome Leslie McCamry, Fen, and my mother, Dr. Shani. Yeah, we about to start. So put some hearts, please. Give us some hearts as we welcome our 3 guests for today. Oh, that's dope. You got a nice background, and I'm over here. Look at that jacket. Anyway, hi everybody. So guys, I don't know how it looks on you guys' screen, but right next to me is Leslie. I'm about to call her Lisa. Sorry, Leslie McCamry. At the bottom of me is Fen, and next to him is my mom, Shani, and you see all her stuff.
Hey y'all.
What's going on?
Hey.
All right, so yes, share this live for us. All right, we about to start so we don't be on here all night. So I want you guys to introduce yourselves and let us know what you do. So who wants to go first? All right, so Fang, you first.
Not a problem. As Cheyenne said, my name is Fen. I'm a designer / stylist / consummate creative. My Instagram handle is also Fen. My brand is Phenomenal. I create. I create, and I just, whatever comes to my mind, whatever I can put my hands to do, I do. This is one of my creations back here.
Love it.
This is one. I have some eyewear coming out soon, so just moving, just continuously moving.
Love it. So anyone of the moms want to go next, or do I need to call on somebody?
I'll go.
Okay.
So my name is Leslie. My Instagram is KK Creations by Les. What I do, I customize t-shirts and tumblers. I customize keychains and pretty much anything that you want your name or any saying or anything on, I can do it. I put it on t-shirts, I put it on hats, or anything. Pillowcases, whatever.
Nice. Mom.
I'm Shani, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I pretty much have the same bio, quote unquote, as Leslie, which is why I love her so much. But I'm also a makeup artist, and I've been a makeup artist for at least 15 years. So that's just something else that I'm added on recently as far as the personalization, customization, business maybe about 2-3 years ago. And so, yeah, that's what I do.
Beautiful. So I am surrounded by a whole bunch of hands-on people, which is great. All right, so first of all, let me take a break right here. I need everybody in here to share this with another parent, and then even children that are in here, share it with your parent. All right, because we're gonna ask some questions, and these are parents. You know, all of them are parents, so we're gonna ask some good questions. Let me share it with somebody because our mom is not in here. She needs to be in here. Okay, so first question: how do you guys balance having a family and still being able to create?
Oh, I think it's literally the same kind of response everybody has. It's just you just really do it. Like there's no real handbook. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You really just literally make it happen however you can. I think maybe one of the constants, and I don't know if the other ladies on here can attest to that. One of the constants is, carving out some type of time for yourself to just decompress in the midst of, creating whatever it is that you are creating, so that you don't burn out. But regimens, anything like that, it's like Jumanji to compare to anything.
So do any one of you guys want to, or he just answered for all of you guys?
Oh my gosh. I think that he literally answered the Jumanji is the best way to describe it. Like you just find a way just to do it. Some days you do more than you anticipated. Some days you do less, but you just have to be intentional about the time that you're carving out to get it done. And like he said, to decompress and to just, take in the moment and just have that time.
Wow. Well, I can't relate because obviously I have no kids.
I definitely agree. Like you just have to do what you have to do and always keep in mind why you're doing what you're doing, to keep you motivated to just keep going and doing it.
That's good. Keep in mind why you're doing what you're doing. Always got to know your why. Stick to your why. That's really good. So how did you guys know that what you do can make you money? So I know that all of you guys, you sell what you do. So how did you know that that can make you money or that will make you money? Like how did you take that step?
Basically, when I started watching videos on TikTok of all the things that people were posting. Because I started out doing resin keychains, and I started, seeing, all the sales that people were doing. And at that time, I definitely needed to make more money. So I just figured, maybe I could just start out with this, and then it just continued to just grow to the t-shirt business and the tumblers.
I love TikTok, so. Period.
Me too.
Mom, friend.
Friend, you can go. I'll go last.
For me, I knew that I could make money from it because I was spending money on it. The first thing that I ever made was a bow tie, and this is. I never thought I would be saying I'm telling my age, but I'm telling my age. This was like 15 years ago. I made my first bow tie. That's wow. And I realized that, at the time, my father and my uncle were buying them for me, but they were spending $60, $70 on bow ties, and I'm just like, it can't be that hard. And I'm from where we used to tie the ties into bow ties, and I don't know if y'all remember that. So I did that. I'm like, well, I'm messing up my ties. So then I started with that, and as I got older and my personal style changed, and my, just my demographic changed, people that I saw change, and I was exposed to different things. I'm like, well, I could do that and I could do this. And then from there, I just started to do whatever it is I wanted to do that I could do. And, that's how it started from there. And then, people saw it and it was like, I like that. And the very first question that people always ask is, how much is that? And from there, it was history.
Oh my gosh, you guys' stories sound so opposite of mine. But when I first started doing makeup, first of all, going back to high school, I didn't own an eyeliner. I think I owned lip gloss, the lip gloss that we used to have, Leslie. I don't know if you remember, with the rollerball in it. We used to just, and it came in all different flavors. That's the only thing that I own because my mother wasn't even having it. But I didn't even have a love for makeup at that time. And fast forward a few years later, I was just reading a magazine, and it was about it was a celebrity makeup artist, and she was talking about, I think she was at the time Beyonce's makeup artist. Don't quote me on that, but I just began to be intrigued by the money that she was making, and I just began to challenge myself to do makeup, and I literally fell in love with it, and it took off from there. So initially, it wasn't about the money, but it was just more or less like, like this is interesting. And so when I began my That's So Shiny, which is the customization, I almost felt like, in one sense, I was very hesitant. I sat on it for a long time, but it was also birthed out of like a challenge that I challenged myself. Oh my gosh, I want to see, can I do this? Oh my God. And I really began to enjoy it. And it was literally like a form of therapy for me. And so that was kind of like when I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this. But I was also a little bit nervous about putting money to it because I was so passionate about it. I didn't want the money to taint my passion or my purpose. And so I was just, even now, I just, I'm just always thankful that it has, up until this point, I haven't had that challenge where I've had to, you know, choose in a sense. I've just gotten to the point where I'm not offended if people don't want to spend their money with me because it's their choice. You know what I mean? And so for me, it literally, it was just a challenge. Like, I just like to challenge myself, and that's just really, really what it is. And some things I stick with, and some things I just don't. And trust me, my kids will tell you some things. It's just like, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But, but that's literally how I began. And so it's just, honestly speaking, when I started the That's So Shiny, I kind of felt like I was turning my back on makeup. Like, it's crazy to say it, but it literally felt like, oh my gosh, am I breaking up with you? Like, what's going on? But again, I'm grateful that I'm in a space and I'm able to do both.
Yeah. So you guys, all of you guys dated yourself. Y'all all old. Jeez. A roll on lip gloss. My God. But that was really great. Yeah, I have nothing to say about that. So the next question is, how do you guys deal with having a creative high? So like when you're like really, really inspired, but then you have to tend to your family / responsibilities. How do you go about that?
Well, basically for me, my kids are of the age where they can cook their own dinner.
Period.
So if I'm really inspired to do something, I'm just like, all right, I got to get in front of my laptop. I have to create something, and I'm just sitting there. If they're hungry, dinner's already ready. Just fix your plate and everything, and just go about that. It's kind of hard to like sometimes I'll put things aside and then I'll have a really good idea, put it aside, and then I'll forget it. So at that moment, I have to start doing it. I have to start working, even if it only takes me a few minutes. I'll just do it. Just put down whatever saying that I have to put on a T-shirt or whatever, and then just come back to it later. We're just getting the main things down.
Oof. That's a really good question. That's like really, really good.
I try.
So with me, my kids are, my kids are 10, 8, and 3. And you know, believe it or not, they're actually really cooperative with me for the most part. Well, my girls are. My son is a little different, but they're my oldest. She like, is the leader of the pack. So she's really understanding. But like if I'm in it, they can tell that like I'm in it. Like they know, okay, daddy's working. So, let's do this or let's do that. But when I do have to step away from it, I like I it's hard to explain. Like literally I'll put a pin in what I'm doing. Like I'll leave it exactly how it is. Because with me, my stuff is like, like I'm stitching and what have you. So I'll leave it exactly how it is. And, I'll go do what I need to do, whether it's cooking or baths or whatever the case is. And then I'm able to come back and I sit for a second and I gotta like refocus. But once I get it, I'm there. I think and another thing that I do, because I have a couple, again, being a consummate creative, you're literally always coming up with different ideas. Another thing that I do is, and this is to your Leslie, one of the things that I do as far as like sayings or words, I'll write it down in my notes so I don't forget it in that moment. And literally I'll just be doing whatever, and something will just come to my brain and I'll write it down. Like these hats were, I bought a regular, just plain trucker hat. And I said something belongs on here. And, I was like, hearts. So immediately I wrote it down and then I came back to it. And the first one I did, I fell in love with it. And from there, I just built on that. So, when I'm there, I'm there. And I don't think I could really like get knocked out of it, if that makes sense.
That's good. Oh my gosh, I am a night owl. And so a lot of the times when I'm creative mode, really doesn't hit me until it's night. So I'm able to create because it's quiet, it's peaceful. I'm a mom of 8, for those that don't know, and so it's very colorful all the time. And so it's just a matter of, again, just being intentional and like Leslie and like Finn said, having a thought, having an idea, and literally writing it down so that you don't forget it later on, and also so it's not literally replaying in your brain. Like you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget it. So just writing it down and being able to just have that time, have that space. And sometimes it's a situation where it's not something that I'm going to create right then and there, but it's an idea that I can expand upon. So writing it down really, really helps. I'm a journaler, so writing it down really helps because I can just kind of like help to organize my thoughts and see, which way I want it to go or whatever the case, on that end.
Wow, it was something as Fen said that I wish I had. He said that like he never really loses it. So like once you're in. Like for me, and I don't have kids, but it's just like, say you have to do something else that's not your creative lane or whatever. It's just like sometimes when I'm in that moment, it's like somebody can call and I try to go back and I'm just like thanks. Like what was I even doing? So I wish that I had that type of, because sometimes just like, even with like, because my brain be all over the place. Like I'm that person that's like 50 tabs open at one time, right? So it's just like, I would think like, oh, maybe I should do this. Then it's just like, I think to myself, oh, I should write it down. Then I don't. Then I'm just like, no, I'm gonna remember it. Come back. Totally forgot. Yay, Pastor Nadine is here. And she's a mom. And okay, next question. I don't want to get into the. All right, so this is my favorite. Like this is gonna be my favorite part. Okay, so I was watching a show called Colin Kaepernick, that black and white show on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's really good.
And I just finished it. And this is not even about him. It's about somebody that he talked about in the show. He talked about this DJ dude, some DJ guy that started the thingy of playing like two the same song, but at the same time, but on two different like turntable things, whatever that's called. So he's talking about that, and in the scene, the dude, he was like doing his scratchy thing, and his father comes in. He's like, "Do your homework." So the boy is just like, "No, I'm doing this." So then the father says, like, "Do your homework, but I'm gonna gift you with whatever." And lo and behold, the gift that the father gave him was the disc of the same exact song, but that was the invention of like, it was the name of it is something, but basically the same song is playing at the same time, but he's like remixing it on one side, whatever. So the point of that story is, so that's a creative child, right? How do you deal with raising how can I say this? Let me see. Okay, how do you like deal with raising a creative child, because it's different. Like, for example, your conversations about college might be different. Like, a lot of creative children don't necessarily want to go to college, or the schooling, the way the society, takes schooling as, or even not even down to college. Younger kids, they don't want to do their homework, but they want to do something else. Like my brother, he was like into drums a lot. So it's just like he didn't care about school really. He wanted to play
No
drums.
fear, Cheyenne. No fear, Cheyenne. You can't take my story.
Well, yeah. So how do you deal with raising a creative kid? And it's just like, how do you go about certain? I don't know how to explain the right word, but it's just like certain things. It's just like it's not the same. Like homework, school, all that type of stuff is just not. It's just like, all right, you talking to me about school and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, like, I wasn't a terrible kid, so that's a disclaimer out there. I wasn't bad in school. The thing is, my complaint in school was always, she talks a lot and all
She
this
talks
type of
too
stuff.
much.
Yeah, I talk too much, whatever. But I was never a straight A student. But school was really never really like my full on interest. Like when I was in high school, I started a step team because I was like bored, and I'm just like, all right, like we got to do something here. So back to the question: how do you go about raising creative kids, and especially with multiple kids? They're different in every like their creative field. Oh, this is a good question. But go ahead, guys.
My kids were born basically with those gifts inside of them. So like my oldest, she's like multi-talented. She's now getting into sewing, wanting to make clothing and different things like that. So she has a sewing machine. I just went to the store, bought a whole bunch of stuff for her to practice on. I just kind of get her motivated by showing her different videos of people, making clothing, and whatever she's interested in. I'm always making sure that I let her know I'm interested in what she's interested in also. So we'll sit down together and we'll look at different things, concerning um, what she likes. Of course, she knows homework first. That's not, something that we have a problem with or anything like that. So she basically, um, basically good in the area of homework. But as far as like sitting down and watching stuff, we watch YouTube. We go on TikTok. We watch stuff together. If I see something, I'm bringing it to her, just to kind of just keep her interest high with that. And like my youngest, she's into like lip gloss and stuff. I haven't, really pushed her to do that because she'll change it. Like one week she wants to do lip gloss, and the next week she want to do something else. So I kind of just wait to see what she wants to do.
My kids, similar. So my son, he's really into music. Like, I mean, YouTube is filled with all manner of things. One of lit drums, pianos, guitars. My youngest, my baby, she's into lip gloss as well. She's also into gymnastics and dancing. And my oldest, she's like me. She just kind of has her hands in a little bit of everything. She was doing step team. She's doing majorette. She wants to learn how to sew. I find that I find that, and this is also answering Sydney's question as well. Um, I find that my kids have similar, if not identical, traits and attributes and tastes that I have. Um, I'm in love with the 70s. Like I love the 70s. I mean, like just like from the music to the style, like I love the 70s. And my oldest, as you know, in her own personal style, she's heavily influenced by the 70s as well. Um, Even down to music, like I mean, I listen to music like today's music or what have you, but I listen to a lot of old music. I listen to a lot of Elton John, Prince, excuse me, the Temptations, Gladys Knight, David Ruffin, um, and that plays to my son's musical ear, but my daughter also picks up the picks it up as well, both of them. Um, I think much like Leslie said, you nurture whatever those gifts are. You never want to stunt them. And I think, one of the main differences from me growing up to raising my own kids, and not to say that I had a bad upbringing, I had a beautiful upbringing. Thankfully. Um, but in the 90s, you had to be a little bit more conservative. Whereas now, I mean, I've dyed my hair. You can't see it. It was purple. It's faded to pink now. You know, um, tattoos, piercings. I've always expressed myself through clothing. Um, but I allow my kids space to be themselves. We have conversations about school. My daughter wants to go to a HBCU, and I would actually encourage my kids to go to school. One of the things that I wish that I did, I went to a 2-year college, but I actually wish that I went away to be able to, experience, different surroundings, outside of, the tri-state area, just to, become a more well-rounded person, So I would definitely encourage them, you know, if, because I think, your freshman year, you don't have to necessarily know what your major is. Your freshman year is a recap of your senior year in high school, you know. So in that, go away, learn something about yourself, experience, make memories. I don't. My goal for my kids, all three of them in their 20s, is to, live their life, fully. I became, excuse me, a parent early, so a lot of the things that I wanted to do, I couldn't do necessarily because, I had to do what I had to do as a parent. It is what it is. But I would encourage my kids to, don't rush. Like, take your time, live your life fully, figure out what you really want to do. Don't stop what you love, but, add on to it, make it, learn yourself.
Oh my gosh. Wow. To piggyback off of what both of you guys said. So for me, I think this is something that I'm really maybe in the past few years as a parent, really looking at, because I think that for the most part, I was in survival mode, like, and I think the kids of this generation are also in a good space because they have the options and the encouragement to be entrepreneurs, whereas not too many years ago, everyone was pretty much telling you had to go to college, you had to either get a city job, you know what I mean, doctor, lawyer, some type of trade. And I think that now we're in a space where we're able to really cultivate and push them, like, hey, if a doctor is not what you want to be, that's fine. If a lawyer is not what you want to be, that's fine. Yes, I think that school and college is very important. However, if this is something that you're passionate about and this is something that you want to do, you may just have to work a little bit harder because you are starting it from the ground up. And I think that for me as a mom, the one thing that I'm now learning to do is to not, just because they are all my children, they're still individuals. So to really respectfully honor them as individuals. You understand what I'm saying? And what their purpose is for being in this world and what they're going to add to this world. I think that's one thing. The second thing for me is just, even like Shine began to say, my son Jojo, for years he played the drums. Like the Tupperware was broke. Like he played the drums. His dad plays the drums, and everyone on his dad's side of the family is a drummer. And so not a drummer, they're musically inclined. And so naturally we were like, oh, okay, well, he's going to do music. And then bam, about 4 years ago now, he's starting to play basketball. And now he's like the basketball, quote unquote, in his words, the king of New York. And drums is a distant memory. So I think just even allowing them that space just to be themselves, and just creating the space even in, in the home environment where they can just be them, and without judgments. Because we know, even like the kids in high school that we all deemed were weird, those were the future fashion designers. You know what I mean? Those were the future stylists. Those were, you know what I mean? Those were the creatives. And we didn't, at the time, we didn't know. Even my 7-year-old, who we call her our real life Punky Brewster, because she has been wearing mismatched socks forever. Like that's her thing. But like when you said, Finn, about expressing themselves, that's the way that she expresses herself. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me as a parent to continuously be like, no, your socks have to match, when they got a big old store in Times Square, Penn Station, that's now selling mismatched socks. You understand what I'm saying? So just really being able to, confidently empower them to be who they are, to embrace who they are. And it's really okay. And to be confident in knowing that you are who you are. You understand what I'm saying? And just being there to support them and having those conversations with them, and and letting them know, like, yeah, it's great, it's wonderful, it's purposeful. Yeah. So I want to say two things. Hopefully I remember both points. So first thing, so yes, like with my mom, everything. Well, not my mom. She's my mom, but on this show, That's So Shani. So That's So Shani. She's definitely right. Like I never, like growing up, I never felt like pressure. Like, oh my gosh, I have to go to college. Like I never felt that. Like if there's anything, I was putting that pressure on myself, right? So I said that to say, parents out there, and this is my second point, don't try to live through your kids. So don't try to, like, your failures, don't try to put what you want them to look like on them, because you can accomplish something. Don't try to do that to your kid, because the only thing it's going to do is, one, they're going to be in a field or career that they don't even want to be in, and it's just going to lead them to be miserable. They're going to be doing other things to numb whatever they're in. I mean, look at all those guys on Wall Street. They do crack just to clock in and get to work. Like, and I watched that from movies. I don't know nobody personally. I just saw that from a movie. But yeah, it's just like, don't put your stuff on them. Like, allow them, like they said, to explore. And I'm not saying have them out here all crazy and let them do whatever. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, creative wise, give them the space. Like, take your L's. Like, whatever you didn't get to accomplish in life, take that L between you, God, and your therapist, and then let your kid live their life. Like, you just doing more harm than good. That's all I wanted to say. Did you guys want to add anything?
I mean, yeah, like you said, let them.
I think another thing too. I'm so sorry.
No, you good. I was just saying, let them be. Like, not let them be, but like let them be themselves, I should say. One of the things that I've discovered about myself is that I really don't want to work a 9 to 5, even though I do, obviously. But on those days where for example, Shawnee, excuse me. Like your son, he plays basketball now, but literally, he can. Not saying that he should, but I'm saying he can. If he wanted to get a gig, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day, playing drums, that's just a continuous flow, multiple streams of income. Not to be churchy, but my pastor says it all the time. Multiple streams of income. Right. He writes music. Multiple streams of income. Simply what it is. Being a creative isn't. It's a different avenue, but it's a rewarding avenue in its own right, because you're literally, making money just being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mom, did
And
you
I
want to say
think
something? Or
honestly speaking too, I'm sorry. The best way honestly is just to model the behavior, because honestly speaking, children mimic what they see. You know what I mean? So if they see us, pushing and pressing and pursuing our dreams and our goals, they will want to do the same. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not just what we're saying, it is literally them watching us, burning the midnight oil to get these orders done. You know what I mean? To get these, to be ready for these vendor events or whatever the situation is. It is them just seeing us and literally seeing that and knowing that, number one, it's not all glitz and glam. You understand what I'm saying? You got to put in
mm-hmm.
that hard work when you don't want to, when you don't want to. Sometimes you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? But you don't have a choice. So I think it's just modeling the behavior, positive behavior for them to mimic.
Yeah. I want to take there's two questions from two parents, two moms. So I'll drop my questions and I'll let the moms get what they need tonight. Um, One of the questions, I think Fen touched on it. How can you identify a creative kid? So we can start there. Somebody, anybody.
I think Leslie and Finn both touched on it when Leslie was talking about, sitting down with her daughter and just really encouraging what she likes, and helping her to do what she likes. And maybe she may not like it 2 years from now, but it's something that she explored and she figured out that she doesn't like it. But and Finn, even Finn saying, having those conversations, letting them express themselves how they choose to express themselves. It's not always the conventional way. I think that society has us kind of tainted us in a sense to think that there's a certain look. There's only a certain look for a certain thing, and so I think that is why sometimes we're not able to, we judge without realizing we're judging. Like we see somebody walk up with tri-colored hair or whatever, and we're like, we're all of these different thoughts are running through our minds, but that is just a person's way of expressing their creativity. And so I think, again, it realistically is what they both have said, just being able to allow the child to express themselves, within reason, age and all of those things, but allowing the
Mm-hmm.
child to express himself. And I think that is the main thing. That's definitely the main thing.
Yeah. I would say how you can identify a creative kid, and I'll just use myself as an example. So, like, I remember growing up. One, you'll start to realize it from them being a kid. Like you'll see like the difference in them. It's just like, wait, like why are they doing that? Like what is that? And I got that a lot. Like just like, what are you doing, Cheyenne? Like what? That's one. Two, you'll notice like even like when you ask them what they want to be when they grow up, it's like you'll start to see it's not necessarily, it may not be like they'll start off by saying like a doctor or something because of those Disney shows. There's like what's that black doctor cartoon? I forgot her name. Dr. Miss Stuffins, I think. Yeah. So like they'll say that, but then after a while it'll start to phase off into something else. Like for me, for example, I remember I wanted to be a hairstylist. And I'm just like, now I'm thinking about it like, girl, bye. Like you never, I don't even like touching hair. I was like barely doing my own hair sometimes. So it started off with a hairstylist, but I noticed thinking back that it was always something like creative. So it was like a hairstylist. Then I wanted to be a writer, like a poet or something, like Maya Angelou. Like I watched the movie and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to be like her. Then I was just like, I want to be a journalist. So like, let me report this. And I'm just like, yeah, no. So I just went into different, and that's why I could never like pick a major in college. I was just always like, I don't know. Like I really just don't know. So that's how you can identify them. And I'm not like the ups and downs, like the weird little like they don't have like a set plan, and no kid has a set plan, but you notice it like when they talk, it's just like, what? Like what do you want to do? That's one way. So another question, I think we touched on this. So one of you guys could just like touch on it real quick. Are you as a parent okay allowing your kid to pursue their dreams, even if that means they take a non-traditional role or route, aka not want to go to college or yeah, wanting to pursue their passion instead.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I've noticed in black households, and I'll say black households because that's really where you notice it, is that once your kid turns 18, like in a parent's mind, they're an adult. So that means that they have to essentially fend for themselves. In other ethnicities and things like that, they allow their kid to build themselves up. And that's also something that I want to adopt with my three. I don't believe to just push them out. I don't want them to have to pay bills. They have to be doing something constructive, and that's where the whole non-conventional way of growing up comes in. So I'm all for them pursuing their dreams, but as long as it's something positive and constructive and good, I'm all for it. So I would definitely push my kids to follow their dreams, but
I
be
agree.
smart while you follow your dreams. Be smart. If you have to get you a job where so you can fund your dream, but you don't let that job be your end all be all. You know, stay focused. Like, keep your eye on the mark. If you want to be the next um the next Rich Fresh, which is a menswear designer. You want to be the next Rich Fresh, or if you want to be the next Iconic Ash, which is a Instagram influencer, do it. By
Yes, I
all
love
means,
her.
go for it. She's really dope. Like, go for it, but be smart. I don't want my kids to be, you know, um, just out here just, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. Find something, hone in on it, and push for it.
Right. Absolutely. And I always think, and keep in mind also that my child pursuing their dream may actually make them more money than them actually going to college, getting a degree, and working a 9 to 5. I keep that in mind also.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. There was something I was gonna say, but it slipped my mind. Um, Let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Aaron. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yep, that is so true. I feel like that's something that should be taught more. Like, now we hear it more, but so if you have multiple interests or multiple dreams, I feel like maybe showing children a way where they can, I guess, test it out and pull back until they decide what they fully want to do will be a great, I guess, like, tool or like asset or whatever. Um, so what on your creative journey, what's something that you could have done better? And I'll start with Leslie.
I would start with creating more content. Putting I've created things and have not recorded it, and it came out really nice. But I always like to create and record in the process, just to show and post it, so people don't just think that you're just doing anything, or you're not actually doing what you say you're doing. Just creating, like my t-shirts. I like to put it on social media and stuff like that. There's times where I have not done that, and then afterwards I'm just like, dag, I should have just did it, because that's where basically a lot of times people do see things, and they say I have to have that, and if I don't record it, I don't take pictures of it, how are they gonna know? So that's just my biggest downfall. It's just not, recording everything that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think same with like what Leslie was saying. One of the things my uncle says to me frequently, you know, always keep whatever you're doing before the eyes of the people. Like always keep it visible, stay visible. Um, and you know, for me, I used to get caught up in the thought of, well, somebody's gonna take this and somebody's gonna do that. But when you really sit back and think about it, there's literally nothing new under the sun. Everything is just a repeat of something that was done 20, 30 years ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, whatever the case is. Um, I wish that I I wish that I asked for help when I needed help, if that makes sense. Meaning like, I'm very much a figure it out myself kind of guy. Even down to the way that I, design stuff or, come up with stuff. You know, I work backwards. So I'll deconstruct something and, put it back together as such. And, it works for and it works against me because I'll sit there and waste valuable time when there are avenues and there are people there who are willing to help and willing to help without contingencies. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I wish that I did do differently is ask, reputable people for help.
That's good. Ooh, what would I have done differently? There's so many things, but one thing that I think I would have done differently for sure was to have an accountability partner earlier on. That would have held me accountable to creating more content, being present on social media, just everything that I needed to do when it came to business. And then like Fen said, asking for help, you know, going to those people, utilizing the resources that were in front of me. I think those are definitely things that I would have done differently.
I'll answer, even though I'm not a parent and I'm still on my journey, but I want to answer. So Mom, you touched on something really good. Accountability. I'm not gonna tell the public this, but that's really good. I really feel like, well, I'm only 23. I know I might, look a little younger. I'm 23. I'm turning 24 this month, and I guess I was always the type of kid, and I guess my mom can attest to this. I don't know. I don't like people telling me. I'm not saying like I'm like, what's the word? What's that word? What's that word when you don't listen? What's the word for that?
Hard-headed?
Hard-headed.
Being hard-headed.
Rebellious, defiant.
That's the word. I'm not rebellious, but I don't like for people to like tell me like what to do or like, who are you? What are you doing? That like stuff like that like gets on my nerves, right? Even in school, it's just like, don't question me. Like, as soon as you question me, I'm just looking at you like, are you the ops? Like, what? Why are you asking me all these questions? Right? Stubborn. Thank you, Sydney. So, but I started to realize, getting a little older that, you need an accountability person around or whatever. And even in like, not even just creative stuff, but your regular life. Like, what are you doing day to day? What's your goal? Even as a creative, it can be easy, I guess very easy to get lost in like not having a plan beyond what you're doing at the moment. And that's what I'm dealing with right now. Is just like, okay, right now, yes, I'm running a creative agency, whatever the case may be, but it's just like, what's my goals like after that? Like beyond that, like what I'm doing every day, what is the goal? So I really feel like accountability is extremely, extremely, extremely important. And so to even all of my, hi Pastor Ray, to even all of my hard-headed kids or stubborn kids or whatever, somebody has to tell you what to do. Like at one point or another, if you want to get better, you want to grow, you want to see growth in your life, you got to get around somebody that's going to hold you accountable. So even if it's not your parents, because obviously they're going to hold you accountable, like they're going to tell you what to do. Even if it's not your parents, find somebody that, will hold you accountable to your things in life, your creative goals, your personal goals. Find somebody. This is the last question. So how does y'all talking about, I'm telling y'all age in the comments. Everybody know y'all old. Come on now.
Not old. I'm not old. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Denial. But how does your religion / beliefs come into your creativity? And that's the question.
So it's funny you asked that. So I was having a conversation yesterday with a couple of friends of mine, and we were talking about urban apologetics, which is basically deconstructing Western Christianity through how white supremacists, taught the Bible. So it's basically deconstructing that. I'm not like as deep into it as my friend is, but I'm a very pro-black person. Saying all of that to say, the Bible,
Me too.
the Bible, a lot of times it gets glanced over the fact that Jesus was black. You know what I mean? So in that, a lot of times we as black people don't realize that we ourselves are in the Bible. A lot of the prominent figures in the Bible are black, and I think that once we realize that, that we are God's chosen, it takes on another life. You become that much more empowered to go out there and do, or as well, we all create, or whatever it is. I just literally, you just look around, and I'm very much an outdoors kind of guy, and not so much like nature. I do enjoy nature, but like just walking around and looking at buildings, or looking at street art, or graffiti, or things like that, and it's just like God created people who then procreated with other people to create dope stuff. Like with your t-shirts and lip gloss and everything, with your creative agency, with what I do. Like even though there's nothing new under the sun, there's always an individual touch to it. It's really amazing. It's really amazing the way that when the sun rises, there's warm temperatures, that's like the start of the day, you warm up. And then when it gets dark outside, it gets cool. So the hues change. You get more purples and blues. It's like it's like how everything just flows. It's like just a perfect myriad of just everything. And I think that overall, it just pushes me, because it's just like, I'm a descendant of this dope dude, man. Like,
Right.
Like, come on, so it really pushes me to just keep going, like just continue to push.
Yeah. And it's funny that you said that, because my mom just came back, but before my mom came back, there's a quote at the bottom that the creative space lives by, almost. And it's, we create because our Father created. And that came to me one day. I think I heard somebody say something very similar, and I just put it into like a line, and I'm just like, yo, like, if God didn't create us, like, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. Like, we're the reason why we're able to do what we do, because God is a creative also. Like, if you really think about it, he is a creative. So yeah, and it's like a whole bunch of scriptures about, and we're not about to turn this into like a Bible study, but there's a whole bunch of scriptures about, God creating, and like, not even just in Genesis, but even in Revelation at the end, what they call it, there's times where he's creating. So it's just like the creative space. That quote came to me before I even knew that I was gonna do anything called the creative space. That was actually something that I put on a sweatshirt when I was doing an apparel line. And I'm just like, that's something that I like, and I found a scripture that matches it, and then I put it on a sweater, and then now I'm just like, yo, that goes with the creative space. So like, we can't do nothing without God. Like, he's the creative, he's still a creative, he's still creating. I mean, yeah, when people, like, when you hear, I guess, preachers say he's making ways, he's creating some ways, and the thing is, he already created it, because he's in the now, forever. Come on, somebody. But I'm gonna stop. Go ahead, Leslie.
I always remember who and what I do this for. Always keep God first in everything that I do. You know, I have, I have my husband that backs me up 100% of the time. You already know who he is and how he is, and he makes sure that I keep. He makes sure that I always keep my mind focused on God while I'm working, while I'm doing what I'm doing. Basically, the bulk of my business is Christ related. I've had people come to me and ask me to put things with like cuss words on it, and I'm like, I have to turn them away. Like, no, I don't. That's not who I represent. That's not what I do. You know, which of course I don't mind missing money for God. I don't mind missing money just to keep, you know, keep him first, to keep him, always a part of my business. It's great.
That's good. I might ask you something after my mom goes. That's good. Go ahead, mom.
So for me, it literally is like God is like He is just my everything. He is my the reason why I'm here. And so a lot of the times I view it as my purpose will always outweigh my passion because I'm purposed in Him. And one of my favorite scriptures that I've always quoted and I always go back to when I feel like I'm at either a creative block or I feel like I'm overwhelmed and don't know where to begin is the scripture that says his grace is sufficient and my strength is made perfect. His strength is made perfect in my weakness. And I think that giving myself just grace to know, just utilizing the grace that has been given to me to be able to do everything that it is I need to do. And so just knowing my purpose is greater than anything that I'm facing. My purpose is greater than anything that, I feel like may hinder me, or, my purpose is greater than me not being able to get my supplies in time. The pandemic was really, really rough for me because I had created a lot of relationships with vendors overseas, and then the pandemic hit and some of them didn't make it through the pandemic. So I'm now in a place where I'm recreating those relationships, but even in that, like his grace is sufficient. And so just knowing that my purpose will always outweigh my passion and he will always lead me and guide me, like my faith is just in everything that I do. It's just who I am, and so yeah, that's how my faith, like I can't do this without him. I can't be Shawnee without him. And that's on period, y'all.
Period. And I want to just drop in and say this real quick. So the creative space, my goal is to reach people who necessarily do not believe in God. So if there's anybody watching, we are talking about God with a capital G. There's only one God. All right, just want to make that clear. And I think to sum up what everybody said, it's just I want when people see the creative space to understand that like we all come from somewhere, something like you're not like you didn't just make it on your own. Like even if you don't believe in God, you didn't make it on your own. Even if you don't even acknowledge him, trust me, he's still working things out for you. Like you're waking up, that's God with a G, capital G, not the God of the water, not the God of the sun. That's God of capital G, the Alpha and Omega. So Leslie had said something. I know I said that was my last question, but she touched on something that I was asking other people. I heard that you said somebody came to you with work with curse words in it and you denied it. So how do you go about, because like I do, so one of the things I do is flyers, right? So of course saved and unsaved people come and some stuff is just like, right. But yeah, so how do you go about, I guess, I don't know if it's standing your ground, or how do you go about choosing your jobs or what you'll take on? Like, how do you go about that?
Well, as far as that was someone who knows who I represent. And they know that that I am a Christian. They know that I love God, and for them to ask me that, I don't know where that came from because they knew from the very beginning that I wouldn't do it. I just basically let them know, that no offense to you, I keep God as the center of my business. Basically, everything that I do revolves around Him. So, anything that doesn't involve Him, I really can't, do. That's basically just how I put it. They understood, which is good. But I just don't know how any other way to put that.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
just who I represent.
Yeah, I just wanted to because sometimes being a Christian, a creative Christian.
Mhm.
That's dope. A creative Christian. Sometimes being a creative Christian, it's like it gets a little touchy sometimes when like you're dealing with people who may not believe in what you believe, because it's just like, all right, do I deny every person that comes my way that may not be saved, or is this my opportunity to now evangelize? And I'm not saying somebody asks you to make a shirt and then you start preaching to them. No, but what I am saying is that, is this a way to, I guess, plant the seed? And that's how I think of it. Like, I get a lot of like recently I started getting people that throw parties or whatever. So it was just like I started to think like, okay, is this my opportunity to, I guess, deny them because they do know that I am saved? Because that'll be a whole nother thing. If I was to not deny them, they'll start, oh, Christians this and they. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But then I started to think like, oh, is this my opportunity to, all right, I hope you're safe at your party. Let me pray for your party. And people start to scratch their head like, huh? You gonna pray? Now let me pray that you guys are all safe. And then that's where questions start to come about that you can, start talking and evangelizing. So yeah, that was just a little a free little, what is that called? Free little nugget for the Christian creatives out there. But also, again, you pray about what you take on, because again, what you put out there, that's representing you. So if you were to make again, like back to Leslie's point, if you were to make a curse word shirt and somebody goes out and asks, oh, who did that? And it's Leslie, and it's just like you go to her page, you see God this, God that, you see her in the church shouting and praising God, it's just like, it's like a hypocrite,
Right.
So I say, weigh it all out. So the very last thing, oh wait, you guys are dropping little business ideas in here. CC, like Chanel created. That's lit. All right, somebody make that. Leslie and Mom, y'all need to, and Fen, team up and make that. And make sure I put Cheyenne.
We ain't trying
Wisdom.
to do no infringement, y'all. We got to come up with something else because we ain't trying to get sued for no infringements.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Licensing is not
well, listen,
cheap.
y'all come up with something together and make sure I put Cheyenne somewhere, like on a sleeve or something. Okay. But
Can I just
yeah.
piggyback on what Leslie and Finn were saying regarding customers? One thing that my mom would tell me early on about when I started doing makeup, because when you first start doing something, your price is a little low because you're trying to get your little clientele up. But one thing that my mom would always say was, number one, every customer is not your customer. And number two, if you can't restock the most expensive thing in your kit with that client, what that client is paying for you, then you don't need to go. And so that's something that I've also carried through. And not to be cynical or negative, but I've had negative experiences when it came to Christians paying me. You understand what I'm saying? Versus, worldly people paying me. And so, I, Christian, non-Christian, Jew, it don't matter. Like, I just always pray that God sends me the customer, whatever customer he sends my way, he sent my way, and I'm just trusting and believing him, because everything else is just too much sometimes to deal with. And some customers, they'll pay a whole lot of money, but give you the most grief and stress, And so just knowing that every customer is not my customer, that's number one. Number two, something that I always used to tell my husband, because he would get a lot of flack because he's a drummer and he plays for the church primarily, but there would be times where he would be offered, secular gigs, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say. And I'm like, number one, the secular checks ain't bouncing, so they come on their business. That's number one. Number two, it is no different to me than a person who has the gift of administration, who is the admin for her church, but then she goes to work for a 9 to 5 for a secular company every day. So I just feel like, no matter where we go, and no matter, we don't change to our environment. Our environment should conform to us, because our light is always shining. So I think that the most important thing is not to lose your witness, no matter where you are.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, don't lose your witness, because like you can be in secular environments and still be you and true to you, and you'll be the only Jesus that these secular people might see. So it's just like, it's not all about, you strictly just doing church stuff or whatever case may be. Like, if you're you, purely you, and you're being who God called you to be, you'll be able to witness to both ends, like secular people as well as Christians. And I feel like us as Christians, we need to do better with paying, because we'll pay the preachers to come and we'll pay the honorarium. But then when y'all need stuff like, for example, to promote them, y'all be trying to go the cheap route. No, go the cheap route on the speaker too. How about that? Get the cheap
Keep it
speaker
cheap.
and get the cheap flyer. Like, don't, so that we need to do, I feel like us as Christians, everybody needs to do better at that. So I need you guys, every single one of you guys, to leave a word of encouragement / advice to creative parents, to, and I'll do the creative kids, I guess. Starting off with mommy, because you had the most expression. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I was hoping I was gonna go last. But honestly, just keeping God first and trusting God, and knowing that, we always hear, when, whatever we teach them when they're young, we will see them when they're old, and they're always listening. So regardless of what their behavior may look like at the time, they're listening, they're hearing, and more importantly, they're watching. So modeling that behavior, you know, and so that they can, the highs and the lows, because teaching them is just as important to lose as it is to win, because sometimes losing is not losing in God's sight. Like, we never lose when we're, walking with God. And, I have a quick story that I want to just share when it comes to that. So when I started my creative customization business, I was doing vendors events, and I just love vendor events because you're able to see the people, talk to the people. So there was a vendor event that was advertised, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to go. So I said, I'm going to take 2 of my girls with me. And it was in a completely different neighborhood, y'all. I'm not even going to say it. Y'all already know. Completely different neighborhood, completely demographic than what I was used to. So Leslie, you got your little Afro Puff Girl cups. You got your little Afro Girl shirts. So I bring all of my stuff, unload. And when I tell you, nobody looked like nothing that I was selling at my table. And that event was from like 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And I was so discouraged because I was like, oh my God, like, this is so crazy. I have my girls out here with me. I'm not selling anything, blah, 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 blah. And I was so discouraged. And right then and there, that's when the Holy Ghost told me that, no, it's not a loss, because they have to see you lose. If you don't show them what it is to lose, how are they going to ever know? So you have to lose gracefully. And so that, in that moment, it didn't matter that it was almost closing time and I had only made $35 that day. You understand what I'm saying? It didn't matter, because the lesson outweighed, the embarrassment of the situation. And so I think just being able to let them see, every aspect of it, just showing them the way, and just, allowing them just to be who they are and not be afraid to be who they are in front of you. Because if they can't be who they are in front of you, then that's when the influence of the streets and everything else would be louder than your influence, and that should never be. So if I could, that is what I would leave. Just, encourage your children to have a safe space. Just have a safe space for them to just be who they are.
Um, encouragement for the parents and the kids. Well, for the parents, you're gonna take care of the kids. Um, Parents, be your kids. Be your kids' first example. Much like Shawnee was saying. Um, if they see you, being, authentically you. And I say authentically instead of unapologetically, because you want to represent. You want to give them something to look up to. You don't, like you said, losing gracefully. You don't want them to see you come undone. You don't want to bleed down. You know, so be their first example, one, and then as for yourselves, you know, like yourselves, give yourself grace, you know, a lot, you know, don't beat yourself up, you know, it a lot of times with me, um I'm like hard on myself. I'm very like, I need to do this, I need to get this done, this needs to be done. I need to push more stuff out. And what you do is you begin to become your own worst enemy, one. And then two, you and I've been saying this a lot lately, you don't allow God to be who he is. And I say that meaning, like, if for example, like if I get into a creative rut, I'm like, I know I could come up with something, I know I could do this, I know I could do that. But then I have to stop and remember, I didn't make myself a creative. I didn't give myself this gift. God gave me this gift. And so, you know, you know, ideas that I may have, or like, for example, like this jacket. This jacket is like a work in progress from years ago, and it's like it's just always something going. Like a bunch of people want me to recreate this, and I literally just say, like it just came to me. It's like, allow yourself space for grace. Um, that's what I would definitely say to the parents, to themselves. Like, don't beat yourself up. It's a marathon. It's not a race.
That's good.
What I would say is, don't lose your passion. I was at the supermarket one time, and this young lady, she liked one of the shirts that I had made. So I started talking to her about me making t-shirts, and she told me that she was a fashion designer. She went to school and everything for it, but she never pursued, anything concerning fashion because there were so many other people that were doing it. And I'm like, girl, you could be making more money than you are making minimum wage as a cashier, doing something that you love. It doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people doing it, there's only one you doing it. So, and then you could create something that can make you millions. You know what I mean? So don't ever, look at, and compare yourself to other people. Don't lose your focus on your business, and don't ever think that because somebody else is doing it that you can't create something that's good or even better.
That's good. Real quick, I saw my excelling family come in here. I don't know if Mike is still in here. Hey, Mike, and hi, Pastor Burnside. How are you? Yeah. So, guys, that is advice from the creative parents. For the kids, I think I would just say, like Fen said, he told the parents to leave room for grace. Like you said that, right? And I would say that kids, give that to your parents. Like, leave room for grace to your parents. Because, like, if you are of age and you realize that you're creative and you see all this stuff going on in your head, and it's just like you don't know what to do, just because our parents are older in age or, older with time and stuff like that, does not mean that they're not going through the same thing, if not more or worse off, because they now have you to take care of. So I just say, just like he told the parents to give yourself grace, give your parents grace too. So I need you guys, one last thing, I keep saying that. Tell us where we can get your stuff from. And Fen, I need something to wear for December 11th. So my stylist, my sister, is in the chat. So I need you guys to talk and figure it out.
Okay. Well, the phenomenal site is on the way. It is currently under construction. I am working on getting everything up there. But if you want anything, you can reach out to me through my IG. I think I have it up there the right way. My business hours are from 10 to 5, 10 to 7 rather. And yeah, put your notifications on, watch my story, you'll see everything.
Yeah, because I had my eyes on that hat because I saw somebody else post about it and I was looking for it. I'm going on your Instagram looking, but you said the website. Okay. Rachel, follow him on Instagram so that you guys could like figure that part out. Okay. Leslie?
I take my orders through my IG account also. So it's posted next to my name, KK Creations by Les. You can just shoot me an inbox if you need anything customized or anything like that. The pictures are posted. I do it all. But yeah, you can reach out to me in my inbox on Instagram.
All right, ladies. You do men clothes too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I make
men
t-shirts
and
for men.
women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. Christmas is coming up. Go get your customized stuff. Like people love customized gifts. Okay. That's like the thing is, well, I'm a good gift giver. I'm gonna say so myself. But for people that aren't the best gift givers, you know, get their name and go to Leslie. And I don't want to take away. Mom, you still doing your surprise?
No, I didn't send it to Emmanuel.
Jesus. Oh, yes, you did. Wait, don't show it yet. Yeah, so, go to Leslie, get your name. You know the person's name? Get them a cup, get them a sweater, get them, do it. Follow her at KK Creations by Les. Mom, so are you doing the whatever person, blah, blah, blah? Are you doing it? The giveaway?
I'm sorry. Oh, yes. So we're doing a giveaway. I'm doing a giveaway to A, support this movement, and B, to hold myself accountable to relaunching after all of this time. And so I don't know how we want to pick it because we were literally talking about grace. And I said this to Shine like last week. I was like, oh, grace, 5 is the number of grace, right? And 7 is completion. And so I don't know, Shine, how you want to do it, if you want to do it by comments or whatever, but we'll be picking 2 people according to the number 5 and 7, I think. And they will be getting the new sweatshirt that I'm dropping after this live for free.
I think I know what I want to do. Because I want to do it to people that, like, I know.
That whole part. So they would just have to send you the information so it can be sent to them.
I know who I'm gonna pick. I know who I'm gonna pick. So I think this is her first show because I don't think she was on last week. Everybody else that I saw, they were on this week. So, yes, man, you can show the sweater. Pastor Leah, I believe her name, Leah Burnside. She is the excelling pastor of Las Vegas, and I think this is her first show because I didn't see her last week. She can be the winner of this sweater. But honestly, I don't know if she has use of this sweater because she lives in Las Vegas. Like, is it hot or something out there?
We can make it into a t-shirt as well.
Is she still on? Rachel, can you tag her? But yeah, so the person that this is their first time. If I miss somebody, if it's somebody else's first time, comment. And then I'll pay to give you that sweater. But I feel like she's the only person I saw. Let me tag her. Sorry, guys. So as you wait for her, did anybody else? Is this their first time? Anybody else? Jalen. Jalen, it shouldn't have been your first time. It shouldn't have been. You should have been on last week too. Dwayne, did Dwayne come on last time? Nadine, no. Pastor Nadine, no. He was on last week too. Okay, so I think Dwayne and Pastor Leia. So Dwayne and Pastor Leia, inbox me your sizes. Inbox me your sizes, and you guys are the winners of my mother's That's So Shawnee's new Grace to Perfection. No, what is it? Grace, not perfection.
Shaking my head. Grace, not perfection.
So I told y'all 50 tabs. Grace, not perfection. Sweaters or t-shirts. So inbox me if you want a sweater, and inbox me if you want or the t-shirt. Like, let me know. Yeah, so I need you guys to give some hearts to our guests this week. Thank you guys so much for all the nuggets that you guys dropped. Thank you guys for spending your time, because again, you guys spend an hour and 35 minutes away from your families. So thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. Thanks, Mom, for the giveaway. If you guys don't inbox me, then you can't. Oh, Pastor Leia, she came. Okay, so Pastor Leia won. Yeah, Pastor Leia, can you just inbox me your size, please? So, and if you want a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. Yeah, so with that being said, thank you. Oh, Mom, somebody's asking for the price of the sweater. Text it to her. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. And yeah, thank you.
It was dope. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it. Very good.
Thank you for having us, and it was nice to meet you, Fen. I met you before, Leslie. Loved you then, loved you now. And Fen, I hope we get to work together in the near future, because you're dope. Because I got my eye on that jacket behind you, but I can't fit it now, so save it for me for when I can fit it.
We'll talk, but thank you very much.
And thank you for having me
Prophet Jay talking about he knew on here. No, you're not doing this. Where's my oils? Okay.
You always forget the oils.
Right.
But I'm definitely gonna follow you guys on social media, just to check out your things too. To see, I always love supporting other businesses as well too. So I'm gonna be looking out for you guys.
Definitely.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. So we just closed out our second show. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. There's still 17 people on here. Wow, you guys, y'all really showing out. Y'all showing out. But thank you so much. Again, don't forget to sew. Our information is pinned in the comments. We have PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. We're asking that you guys sew in eights, So $8, 8 cents, 18, 28. Why? Because the number 8 is in our name, the creative space, and 8 also means new beginnings. So again, I'm not gonna prophesy to you and say that you're gonna get something from whatever if you sew, but so help us out. Our first in-person event is December 11th. So that is what we are sewing towards, and sewing for, and that's what we're gearing up for. That's why we're doing all these lives, just to get the message out there, the creative space, to get a whole bunch of creatives and have great, dope conversation. Please register. The registration link is on my Instagram in my bio, and also it's posted on my Facebook page. Please register. It is free. Registration is free. So register. I need you guys. I just need to have a count with everybody that's going to be there, so I can let the vendors know, because we're going to have food and dessert vendors. And, I want to make sure that we space everybody out properly. Everybody's comfortable. So please register. Sew and register and sew. Okay. Our guest next week, I don't know if I should announce it now. I'll announce it later. I'll announce it at the end of the week. Our guest for next week. I'm a little excited about that one, because I don't know. I'll tell you after. Yeah, that's it. Register and sew and register. Send this to any creative that you know, every creative that you know. Sew it. Show them, not sew it. Well, tell them to sew too. Thank you guys so much for the congrats and the awesomes, and thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell a story because it's already late. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me, for staying on this long, for being engaging. I love talking to a live audience that's active, so keep it up, because we're going to be here the same place, same time next week, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. So again, stuff is in the comments, and registration link. If you cannot find it, please contact me, Cheyenne Wisdom. You see my sister in the comments too, Rachel Wisdom. Register, please. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I love and appreciate you all, and see you guys next week. Bye.